presenting my 8.1 task. So basically, here I'm going to break down how to represent a software architecture using a universal modeling language or UML class diagram. I will be using a bank system I designed to explain how classes, fields, methods, and relationships are visually mapped out, and then I will show you exactly how this blueprint translates into actual C sharp code. So let's dig into the UML diagram first. So here is my UML diagram, as you can see. So basically, let's first see the account class box in the UML diagram. In the UML, a class is represented by a rectangle which is divided, as you can see here, which is divided into three sections. So the top section holds the class name, as here it is account. Then the middle section contains the fields or attributes that we use, like here we have name and the balance. And we use minus and minus sign to denote that it is a private, and a plus sign is denoted to show it is public. So here I've used minus in here. For example, minus name. Um, next in the bottom section, we have like methods. Like I have plus sign, as I have stated that it is for public visibility. I have used methods like deposit, withdraw, and print. So deposit amount, which has a decimal here, then uh, void mapped out here showing the parameters they take and their return types. Then I will say the that UML is incredibly powerful for showing how different components interact. Let's look at the four main relationships shown in the diagram. Like inheritance, let's notice inheritance. Notice the solid lines with hollow arrows pointing to the deposit transaction. Here we can see pointing towards a transaction, like from deposit, from transfer transaction, and withdraw transaction. All these are pointing towards the transaction class. So basically, uh, this shows that they inherit from the base class, making the code easier to reuse and manage. Let's next dig into association. We use simple lines to show an association relationship, which you see between the individual transaction and the specific account they interact with. Next, we have aggregation. So basically, let's look at the bank class. It has a line with a hollow diamond pointing to it. This is aggregation. This aggregation regime signifies that the bank manages multiple transaction and accounts, as you can see here. So it manages multiple transaction and accounts. Then we have a composition. Finally, we have a composition relationship represented by a solid filled diamond, as you can see here. You can see that these were a transfer transaction is composed of both the withdraw transaction and the deposit transaction. So as you can see, the transfer transaction is composed of both withdraw and deposit transaction. These diamond filled represents that, like I have also stated, like here contains. So basically, this was it. Then I will move on to the explanation of relationship between the UML diagram and my C sharp code. Like uh, the UML diagram isn't just a diagram. It helped me understanding the structure and relationship between classes, making the code easier to design and manage. Let's look at precisely how the visual symbols translate into C sharp syntax. translating fields and let's look at the account class again. In a UML, the minus sign, as I have already stated, the minus sign indicates private visibility such as name, string, and a balance colon decimal is there. In C Sharp, this translates exactly to our class field private string name and private string decimal balance. Conversely, the plus sign next to the operations in the UML indicates the public method. So plus deposit decimal amount in our code implementing inheritance. The UML diagram shows deposit transaction, withdraw transaction, and transfer transaction pointing to transaction. In code, we define the base class as the public abstract class transaction. We establish the inheritance using the colon syntax, writing public class deposit transaction. Transaction. This allows the child class to reuse the core transaction logic. Coding aggregation in UML, the bank class aggregates accounts and transactions. Since aggregation implies has a relationship where the bank manages multiple objects, we map this in C Sharp using collection. This translates to our bank class containing private list account underscore accounts is equals to new list account, and private list transaction underscore transaction is equals to new list transaction. Association versus the composition in code. The diagram beautifully distinguish between association and composition. For the association relationship between the withdraw transaction and account, the transaction simply holds a reference to an existing account via a private account underscore account initialized through its constructor. However, the composite relationship in transfer transaction is much stricter. It is composed of withdraw and deposit. In C Sharp, transfer transaction defines private withdraw transaction underscore withdraw and private deposit transaction underscore deposit, and it strictly initiates them inside its own constructor using underscore withdraw is equal to new withdraw transaction from account, and underscore deposit is equal to new deposit transaction to amount. If the transfer transaction is destroyed, if parts are also destroyed with it. So overall grading, this is my code, this is my whole code, which I have explained through my UML. So basically, overall, creating this UML diagram provides a clear visual structure of organization and how each component interact with another before a single line of code was even finalized. Thank you for watching.